Are you a fan of doing dramas, or are you more into doing comedies as an actor?
I like them both. I like that they are both very different and also very similar. I like finding the comedy in drama, and I love finding the drama in comedy. Yeah, they're both really fun.
Now, what was it about Honor Society that caused you to want to join the cast or sign on as the same, maybe?
I I just loved the script. For me, it's like all about writing, and it's all about if I connect with the character and if I think the story is interesting and would add. I think, if I think other people will connect with the story, and I loved it. I saw a lot of myself in Honor, and I think she's simultaneously a great role model and also someone that we can learn from by not repeating her mistakes. She's flawed and she's human, and I just thought she was a very compelling character.
Yeah, she's almost a little too driven, I guess we could say, and not give away too much of the film. But you do kind of cross. You don't cross the line, but you show a good balance between her being self-aware and her kind of being a little over the top, if you will. Now, in terms of your year, I mean, you've gone from one thing to another. I mean, you're just keeping yourself busy. I mean, you had the project of Rebel Wilson, now this. You got something coming up with Apple TV. You know, you could take a break, right?
uh, yes, yeah. Well, thankfully I got the whole of Christmas and New Year's to myself this year with my family. So that was a great break. But I love my job, so it's super fun.
Now, in terms of this particular project, what struck me is there was like a dynamic you don't see in most films where it's like you guys have a connection. It sort of was natural. Was that the way from day one when you started filming with this cast? Because it all seemed very unforced when I watched the film.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's such a treat when you just get to work with people who are genuinely lovely and you genuinely enjoy spending time with them. And that's what happened with Honor Society. And it's not always like that. You don't always gel in the way that I feel like we really connected. So it was just such a joy. And I loved working with Gaten. I loved working with Ben and Amy and Armani and Chris. I mean, everyone was just such a delight. And yeah, we had a great time and hung out outside of filming as well.
Now, in terms of your selection of projects, you talked about writing and what have you. Was it the way your character's arc was presented in this film that kind of made you want to go forward with the film, or was it the story as a whole that drew you in?
It was definitely both. I loved Honor because I felt very similar to her, and I thought, if I feel this way about a character who might be dismissed as unlikable or too harsh and brash, then that's something that I want to. That's a character I want to play because I think other people might connect with her too. And then the story as a whole, I love how every character has this element of pretending to be someone they're not, or putting up a guard so that they don't get hurt. And then throughout the course of the film, not only Honor, but every character reveals who they really are and is able to make connections and friendships.
And it's very reflective of the high school experience in a lot of ways, from what I could tell watching the film. Now, in terms of working with this cast, real quick, because I know we're running out of time, who kept it the most light during filming out of the whole cast?
Probably Gaten. I mean, he's so funny. Gaten and Chris, who plays Mr. Calvin, they are both very, very funny, very, very witty people, and constantly making jokes.
And you weren't all intimidated when you first met Kate Winslet?
Of course I was intimidated, but then we had a conversation and it was fine. And I was like, oh, she's just lovely and nice and personable. And yeah.
I would be intimidated too. I just had to ask because I only had.
Of course. I mean, of course I was. And then it's like, and then you get to know someone and it's like, oh, you're a person as well. You know what I mean?
For this, what attracted you to the project? We'll start with Amy, then go to Armani.
Absolutely. I first read the script back in August, and I just remember immediately falling in love with just the role of Kennedy, and being really intrigued by kind of her arc and where she starts as just this pretty marching to the beat of her own drum, intense, deadpan, funny, but maybe slightly misunderstood character. So I think my personal draw was the character of Kennedy herself, but then also just like meeting Iran and getting to work with her over my initial callback, immediately knew this was going to be such a special and really fun project.
Armani?
Yeah, I think when I read the script, I've never had a chance to play a role like this before. I'm used to doing a lot of dramas and also used to playing a lot of younger roles. And so it was really fun to play a heartfelt role that has a lot of heart to it and a lot of arc to it. So when I read the script, I was immediately like, this is a character that needs to be told. This is a story that needs to be told, and I was super honored.
We all have our unique Zoom backgrounds, so to speak. You got your background, Amy. That's
yeah, we do.
back of the like a back of a wall, I guess. And I don't know where you're at, Armani, but I'm sorry.
On my porch.
Are you on your porch? Yeah, I was gonna say I hope they're not holding you captive there because it looked like you're like in a holding cell or something. But I guess my question for both of you is this. How do you find time to do projects like this when both of you are extremely busy? I mean, little known fact, you've got Broadway on the horizon, Amy, and you've got music on the horizon as well. I mean, do you two ever sleep? We'll start with Armani, then Amy.
It's actually really funny. Yeah, I'm in Atlanta right now filming a TV show, and I was working on the weekend yesterday, got off at like 5 a.m. So I'm not sleeping that much, but I'm sleeping enough. But no, yeah, I think it's all part of the passion. You know, when you really love doing something so much, at least this is how I am. It doesn't matter how many hours I'm working or how little sleep I have. I'm happy to be there. And it's sometimes it's difficult to fit things into where your schedule lands, but it's all part of the passion for me.
And you got Broadway coming up, Amy. That's just a little tiny thing. I mean, how? Tell me how.
Yes, no, I feel super fortunate. I mean, unlike Armani, I'm getting decent sleep, so thank you for asking. But no, I just so happen to be really lucky that I've been working on the show K-pop that's about to open on Broadway this fall, since about 2019, but ended up having this like perfectly timed out winter chunk for me to fly out to Vancouver and film Honor Society. So everything fit together like a puzzle piece, which I'm very thankful for.
So I totally get where Amy's coming from in terms of having that moment where you could do a project like this. I guess the way Armani works is that if he has out between the hours of 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. available, he's actually trying to find some project to do. I mean,
yeah, I'm like done in this free time.
So what do you two hope? What do you two hope fans get from watching this when it comes to Paramount Plus at the end of the month? We'll start with Amy and we'll end on Armani.
Absolutely. Well, one, I hope that fans will be entertained and just a little bit surprised, because I do think that our film is a little different than maybe what people might expect. But additionally, I hope people really come away encouraged, because I think what our film has a lot of is heart, and really the message that all of us are so much more than we appear to be on the surface, and all of us have deep longings and passions that are beautiful and interesting and worth getting to show.
Armani?
Yeah, I hope people recognize how realistic of a film it is. I mean, David is an amazing writer. I couldn't believe that he wrote the script. It's so realistic. It's so with the times, and it makes sense, and I think a lot of people will relate to it, because you need to have that realism in order to take something away from it. So I hope it resonates with this generation, and they can learn to be themselves as well in a comfortable way.